Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to EFL Championship predictions. We have got 12 big Championship games to predict in midweek. Sophie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Could be better. Could be winning.
Yes, I just got the better of you at the weekend. 5-3 overall, which does put me in the lead now. But it's a long season.
It is.
So
I've got time to get back ahead.
Exactly. There's a long way to go, so I won't get too carried away just yet. Guys, please do show some support on this video. Do get your predictions down in the comments as well. And do make sure, of course, to drop a thumbs up. It's free to do so. Please do make sure to do so. Let's go for 800 likes because your support has been absolutely fantastic. Please do hit the thumbs up button and do make sure, of course, to subscribe as well, as it's free to do. And we're starting to push towards 42,000 subscribers. Let's get into the predictions. We're going to start off in West Yorkshire, Sophie, for Huddersfield Town versus Cardiff City. Interesting matchup, this one. You know, before Cardiff City's run of 4 wins, I'd have seen this as a bottom end of the table matchup, but Cardiff City did shoot up the table, but they're now without a win in 3. And Huddersfield have got their first win under Darren Moore, so maybe now they're starting to make strides forwards in the table. I think this will be close. The table says go for Cardiff, but Huddersfield Town have the home advantage and do come into this on the back of a win against Queen's Park Rangers at the weekend. Don't think there's going to be a lot in this one, Sophie, but I'm going to go for the home team. 1-0 to the Terriers.
Okay, I'm going to be boring here. I'm going to sit on the fence and say a 1-1 draw. Obviously, good win. Huddersfield was against QPR, so I don't know if you can look into it too much. And as you say, Cardiff's form from being really good has dipped slightly, so maybe a draw to settle things. 1-1.
Sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Den as we have Millwall versus Blackburn Rovers, and this was an absolute classic on the final day of last season. Millwall and Blackburn were both fighting to get into the playoffs at the end of the season. Millwall went 3-1 up and then they capitulated, losing 4-3 in the end. They both missed out on the playoffs. Right now they're both quite far down the table, not that close to the playoffs when you look at it, but they're actually both just 3 points off the playoffs, and they come into this in mixed form really. Millwall have drawn their last 2, Blackburn have won their last 2, but overall I think both would have expected a better start than being in the bottom half. Yeah. I think this could be exciting though. 2 teams that, like I say, are only 3 points away from the playoffs, desperate to get this win. But I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. I think it'd be an entertaining Desmond. 2-2.
Oh wow, see, I'm actually going to back the away side here. What a goal for Fleming, by the way, for Millwall. Great goal, great player. I don't know, I just get the feeling that the away side is going to nick this one. So Blackburn win this for me. 2-1. 2-1
to Rovers.
Yeah.
That would be 3 wins in 3. I can see why you're going that way. Right, next up, Soph, we'll go to East Anglia as Norwich City, the Canaries, host Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough are flying. Yeah. They are looking so good. And it was this in the sort of middle phase of last season that carried them up the table. They had a slowish start and they went on a mad winning run. Right now, they've won 5 in a row and they left it late against Blues, but they did get the 3 points, and that's the most important thing. They go away to Norwich, who are really struggling for consistency. It's actually 3 defeats in 5, so they're consistently being not very good. I think you can only go one way, and that's for Middlesbrough, which I'm surprised to say, because Norwich in the Championship, when they're at home, I don't feel like I want to go against them very often. But on this one, the form book is saying Middlesbrough, and I think they could win it comfortably. Norwich City 0, Middlesbrough 2.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to say quite so comfortably, but I'm going to agree with the winning team. For me, Middlesbrough are absolutely flying, and Norwich, as you say, they are struggling to hit some good form. And you're coming up against an in-form Middlesbrough team at the moment, so not a great game for them. But yeah, 2-1 Middlesbrough for me.
2-1 Middlesbrough. Yeah. Interesting. Both going for Borough. Do share your thoughts down below for that one. Let's go down to South Wales next, Sophie, as Swansea City host Watford. This one's interesting. They're both in the bottom 8, bottom 9. Don't think there's going to be a lot between the two. Swansea did lose at the weekend, but they were playing Leicester City. There's not a lot you could do about that. You know, they are just going to beat most teams. They did go ahead though. But I've mentioned in yesterday's video, they conceded in the minute before half time, and it can really change the complexion of a game. As for Watford, they got a win, which is quite a rare thing for them this season. They ground out a 1-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend. They needed to beat them.
They did, to be honest.
So I think there's not a lot in this one. I would make Swansea slight favourites, but I think Watford, having that win under their belt, might just have a little bit of confidence to maybe go and get a draw. I think this one will be close. I'm going to go Swansea 1, Watford 1.
The thing with Swansea is at times they can play quite good football.
Yeah.
So I am going to lean towards them, because even the Wednesday fans were saying that Watford did not look that good. I know they lost to them, but they were saying they didn't look very good. And to be honest, this season I've thought that on a couple of occasions. So I feel like Swansea could get the better of them here. I'm going to say 2-0 Swans.
2-0 Swans.
Yeah,
interesting. Okay, we'll go across now to the East Midlands, Sophie, for a really juicy matchup this. Leicester City versus Sunderland. If you rewind 8-9 years ago, these two were obviously in the Premier League. Leicester City are looking like they're going to make a swift return. This is their first season back down in the Championship, and they are killing it. Yeah. 11 wins out of 12, and I've just grown used to backing them in every weekly video we do, because it never fails.
Yeah.
It never fails. Leicester City are just rewarding me with more points each time I back them to win.
And I went against them. I said a draw last time.
You don't go against Leicester in this division. Sunderland, though, it's an interesting test. If Sunderland came into this in good form, you'd maybe think Sunderland are one of the teams in the division that maybe can give Leicester a good game. But Sunderland don't come into it in good form. They've lost their last two. As we said, it was the 4-0 defeat to Middlesbrough at home, and now a 2-1 away defeat to Stoke. And Stoke haven't been great so far, but we'll give Stoke credit for that win.
Yeah.
Sunderland really probably will be falling outside of the top six if they don't win this one. And do you know what? Even though they come into it in not great form, I do think Sunderland are capable. I think they're one of the few teams that play really nice football.
Very attacking football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be the way to beat Leicester. But I'm not going to go for it. Leicester, man, they're just too good. I'll give Sunderland a goal, but I'm going to go for the Foxes 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to say another 3-1 win for me. I'm giving Sunderland a goal, and it'll probably be that man, Jack Clarke, again. Great player. But you can't not back Leicester. So, yeah, says it all. 3-1.
3-1. Okay, we'll stick in the Midlands. We'll go across to the West Midlands now, Sophie. West Bromwich Albion take on Queen's Park Rangers. Both sides didn't get a win at the weekend. West Brom got a 0-0 at home to Plymouth. Queen's Park Rangers suffered a 2-1 defeat away to Huddersfield. And with QPR's home form being rotten to the core, they need points on the road. I mean, they need points at home, of course, as well eventually, but they need to get something here, because there could be a gap forming from the bottom three to the rest of us. And I just don't see QPR getting anything. I know West Brom drew 0-0 with Plymouth, but I would say Plymouth are better than QPR.
Oh, yeah.
West Brom have got to win this. If West Brom go through Plymouth and QPR back-to-back home games with no wins, that's a very disappointing week. I think they'll make it 4 points from the two games, because I'm going to back the Baggies to win this one. I'm going to go 2-0 West Brom.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. Bang on there. 2-0 West Brom, purely because they're playing QPR at the moment, and I feel like this could... To be honest, if you look at QPR, it's a good confidence boost for most teams at the moment. It sounds incredibly harsh, but Gareth Ainsworth is under a lot of pressure, and I don't see them getting anything. I know they're better away from home, but still, Baggies win this, and I agree with your scoreline, 2-0.
2-0. Okay, we'll stick in the West Midlands again, as the next game is on Wednesday night, and it's Birmingham City versus Hull City. Two sides just sitting outside the playoffs now. Birmingham City nearly got a 0-0 draw against Middlesbrough to lose in the 89th minute. Hull City did one worse, conceding in the 94th minute or something.
Yeah, it was late.
They conceded very late on against Southampton and lost as well. So both sides come into this a little bit deflated, but a big opportunity for either to pick up 3 points. But I'm going to go down the middle for this one. I think both sides have had a decent start. You know, when you look at it in total here, it's Birmingham City's first home game with Wayne Rooney as the manager, so, you know, maybe a warm welcome there. Maybe they get their first goal under Wayne Rooney here. But Hull City are no mugs, and they don't lose many under Rosenior, despite, obviously, the fact they did lose at the weekend. So I'm going to go down the middle. Birmingham are decent, Hull are decent, 1-1.
Yeah, I feel like a 1-1 is probably a safe bet, so I'm going to back a Hull 2-1 win, and I'm probably going to gift you 2 points there, but... I just feel like Hull on their day are a very good team, and they were going toe-to-toe for 94 minutes with an ex-Premier League team. And I feel like you've got to give them some credit for that. I know they then went on to lose, but coming up against Birmingham, I do see them as an easier opposition than Southampton. So, Hull City win, 2-1.
Well, that would be 2 defeats in a row for Wayne Rooney.
It would.
And they've got Southampton at the weekend next as well. So
be a bad start.
Interesting. Do share your thoughts if you're a Blues fan or a Tigers fan. Let's go on to the next game then. And we have Bristol City versus Ipswich Town. Difficult one this, because Ipswich Town didn't play at the weekend. It's going to be 2.5 weeks since they last played in the Championship. But we did get to see Bristol City, and
sadly we did.
They beat Coventry 1-0. We can say all we want, Sophie, about Coventry should have won in terms of the chances we had. At the end of the day,
they got the 3 points.
They got the 3 points. They had a player who could put the ball in the back of the net. Rob Dickey, decent header. And to be honest, I think what not many people will give them credit for is they kind of nullified the game in the second half, and Coventry just kind of ran out of steam. So although I don't think Bristol City were scintillating to watching that game, you could say they did a job. This one's more difficult though, because Ipswich, unlike Coventry, have been hitting the back of the net. Although they've not played in 2.5 weeks, will they be rusty or rested? I think they'll come back pretty strong. I'm going to give Bristol City a goal, but they've looked open in that game against Coventry, which makes me think Ipswich hit them for 2. And I'm going to go Bristol City 1, Ipswich Town 2.
Okay, I'm going to give Ipswich a clean sheet here. I'm going to say 2-0. I know it's hard when you've not seen them play for a few weeks, but the form going into the international break, I feel like they will continue. We obviously saw Bristol City at the weekend. Wasn't a great performance, but they got the 3 points. That's all that matters. But they need to play better against Ipswich, because Ipswich are flying. So they're going to continue for me. 2-0.
2-0, okay. Right, we'll go down to Home Park next, Sophie, as Plymouth Argyle take on Sheffield Wednesday. Both sides obviously came up through League One's promotion places last season. Plymouth winning the league, Sheffield Wednesday doing it in 3rd place through the playoffs. It's the team that finished in between them, Ipswich, who have climatised to the Championship best. But Plymouth have done all right, and I think they'll probably go under the radar a little bit because Ipswich are out there grabbing headlines. But they're doing okay. Their home form's been pretty decent, despite 1 or 2 results recently. But then a 0-0 draw at West Brom's a very solid point for a team that's just come up from League One. So they're doing all right, but this is a game Plymouth need to pencil down as a must-win. Sheffield Wednesday, they had their first game with the new manager. It did look like they were going to get a 0-0 draw at Watford, but for a late goal, and it just shows the frailties, and it might just show a little bit more negativity seeping into this next one. I just think with Plymouth being at home, Plymouth get the win. I'm going to go Plymouth Argyle 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
So I'm actually going to back a draw here, and I feel like that's good for Sheffield Wednesday. Not so good for Plymouth, obviously. But it's going to be a 1-1 for me. I just feel like Sheffield Wednesday, they put in a pretty good performance for the most part against Watford, and that's something to build on. So for me, they'll get a point. 1-1. 1-1.
Okay, just a couple games left. Let's go to Deepdale, Sophie, for 4th versus 5th. Preston North End versus Southampton. Southampton, what a win for them at Hull City.
Yeah, massive.
Those late goals, I think they did the same against Plymouth Argyle as well when they won away there. You know, these late goals will get you the points that can make the difference, whether that gets you in the top 6 or in the top 2. Southampton are just showing that bit of Premier League quality that you expect from a parachute payment team. And as for Preston, they had such a good start to the season that despite no wins in 5, they're still in 4th place. They did avoid defeat against Millwall, getting a 1-1 draw. And I think with this one being at Deepdale, I'm more likely to give Preston something, but I do make Southampton favourites for this one. I reckon it'd be close. I think Southampton maybe pinch it by a goal, possibly, but I'm maybe going to back Preston to get a draw here. Preston just need to keep churning on the points if they want to stay up there, otherwise they could drop down the table because it is very congested now. I'm going to give Preston a point. Preston 1, Southampton 1.
Okay, yeah, it is quite an evenly matched kind of setup, but I am leaning more towards Southampton here. They have shown more promising signs in recent weeks, and I feel like I'm going to have to lean towards them because of that. So for me, Southampton win 2-1.
2-1. Okay, 2 games left. Let's go to the New York Stadium, Sophie, as Rotherham United take on Coventry City. Will it be going ahead? I hope so. I think it should be. The weather's not been as bad. But
they'll tell you 5 minutes before kick-off.
Yeah, literally. They'll wait until just before kick-off to tell you. But Rotherham, once again, another team that's not played for 2.5 weeks now. Will they be rusty? Will they be rested? How will they perform? They have got home advantage, and Coventry City are going away after just being away on the Saturday. Coventry, Sophie, we've mentioned it, the Bristol City game, so frustrating.
Very good first half, or first 35 minutes, 40 minutes. after that, not great. But even though we had a good first half, we didn't make it count.
100% agree. Absolutely agree there. Do you know what, Sophie? I've been backing Coventry to draw a lot lately, and despite us losing at the weekend, I'm actually going to go for us to win this one. I think Coventry City need to have a reaction. If Mark Robins is not giving these lads shooting practice now, then I don't know what's going on. We were everything but the final touch, and we need it to click. We need a reaction here. I'm going to back Coventry to win 2-0. I think this is a potential banana skin for the Sky Blues. I would hate it if Rotherham trip us up here, leave Coventry in a worse position than where we are now, but I'm going to go for Coventry 2-0.
Yeah, it almost feels like a must-win. I know it's not because it's a long season, but it feels like it for right now. We just need to get a win. And I can see us doing it. I don't see it being quite so convincing. But for me, I'm going to say Sky Blues 2-1.
2-1?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. One game left, Sophie, and we'll go to Stoke City, who take on Leeds United. Really interesting how this one's set up now. Both sides with a very impressive win at the weekend. Leeds United, of course, are strong favourites for this one. I'd imagine Leeds United won 3-2 at Norwich, coming from 2-0 down, and they are now 6 points behind Ipswich, albeit Ipswich have got the game in hand. Leeds United look strong, Sophie, and I said it at the start of the season, I did tip them to win the league. I'd more realistically say second or third now, but I think they are moving towards second. It all depends on Ipswich, doesn't it? If Ipswich keep doing well, then it's going to be difficult for Leeds because there is a bit of a gap. But I like Leeds. I keep backing them. It keeps working. I'm backing them here. Stoke City, I will give them credit. An incredible win against Sunderland, and I didn't go for it. I do want to give Stoke a result here, but I just think, I've got to go for Leeds. But I tell you what, if Stoke win this one after winning the Sunderland one, that is two ridiculously strong results. I think it'll be close. I'm going to go Stoke 1, Leeds United 2.
So I'm going to say 3-1 Leeds, just because Leeds have got that firepower, and for the most part of the season, Stoke haven't looked very good. It was a great result against Sunderland, so are they starting to turn it around? I'm not too sure. It could just be one good result. So we'll see the performance that they put in against Leeds, but Leeds just looked too strong. So that's what I'm saying, 3-1.
3-1 to Leeds United. There you go, guys. That wraps up our 12 predictions for the midweek championship games. Do make sure, of course, to predict down below in the comments. Let us know your predictions for them. Do share your opinions as well. Do make sure, of course, you've hit that thumbs up button as we're going for 800 likes, and do make sure to subscribe as it's free to do and you can keep up to date with us on the channel. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all in the next one. Peace out.